What's going on, y'all? So today I'm gonna do a little mukbang. I got a little Olive Garden, got my hot sauce, and what I want to talk about is myself. And I want to talk about the fact that I'm looking for a wife. Okay, and I'm gonna explain a little bit about my why I'm single, probably. Things that I've endured in my life, and why I'm looking for a wife. And so yeah, I'm not really that hungry. I'm just gonna eat what I got. A little bit left for this Olive Garden. I just wanted to try a mukbang. I've never done one, but so yeah, I'm looking for a wife. Okay, I don't have the gift of singleness, and in my early 20s, or in my 20s period, I thought I was ready for a wife, and I wasn't at all. In fact, I personally and actually ruined and messed up some relationships, some good relationships I could have had, because I wasn't spiritually healed. I hadn't healed on the spiritual level yet. And it goes all the way back to childhood. And first of all, I want to say no shade to my exes. The simple fact that I appreciate all of my exes. Any woman I've ever been involved with, I love them. I appreciate them. I learned a lot from them. And sometimes it's a circumstance that keeps people apart, But I have nothing against any of my exes. I'm on my part, on my end. I'm good. I'm good with them. I have nothing bad to say about any of them. But anyways, so yeah, my early 20s, I messed up a lot of relationships that could have been potentially like real life situations for me, and a lot of that was because I hadn't spiritually healed from things that happened to me in my childhood. And not things that happened to me, but things that happened. Like as far as like my mom. This is no shade to my mom. I've forgiven her for, everything that's happened with, her situation. If you don't know about it, she was on drugs, bad for a while. But she changed her life, God helped her change her life. But, through that, I came into this thing, this like abandonment issue that I didn't realize I had. And I think that's part of why. And so when I got older, I would date these girls or be with these girls, and the ones that I really liked, I would be like, I would be like a level 5. Yes, I would be like a level 5 clinger. And no, it's funny now, but like it would almost be like they had a spell on me. Like I would be super jealous, overprotective, all that. And it wasn't until like my late 20s really. And so I actually like healed spiritually from, I would have like anxiety that these girls would like leave me or not want to be with me anymore for whatever reason. I had insecurities. And I'm just being honest, I'm being transparent because I'm not that person anymore. I've fully healed, and from just spiritual things, you know what I'm saying? So now I feel like that, I'm ready to take on a wife when God's ready for me to take on that wife. But I am open and ready for a wife, I feel like. And so hide your wives. No, but for real though, if you're not married, you single. Even in the eyes of the government, if you're not married, you single. So y'all better be careful when y'all trying to take 5-10 years to marry these beautiful women, because all women want a man of God internally. They might not know that or even say that, but they all want a man that can lead them to salvation in heaven. Because what is this earth? It's in a woman naturally to want to be led by a man. And what better man to be led by than a man that knows God? right? So you better be careful. Them women that y'all taking forever to marry, they looking at these men of God like, he know about God. He's bold about God. He know how to get me right. He know how to set me straight, get me on the right path, and get me to heaven. All my man got is some money. That's it. What about when we die? Where he gonna go? Where I'm gonna go? They thinking about that, so you better hide your wives. Well, I won't say wives. If you got a girlfriend and you ain't married, if you're not betrothed or engaged, you single. Your girl single. Not that I'm trying to take nobody's girl. I'm just saying that's just how it is. But yeah, so that's part of why in my 20s I hadn't married, and people be like, "Why you ain't married?" Well, I had some spiritual things I haven't healed from my childhood, and most people do. You know what I'm saying? And mine was like abandonment issues that I felt that would cause me to be anxious about things that I didn't even know why I was like the way I was. I'd be like, man, why am I like this? One day I just had to ask myself, like, man, why am I like this? You know, because, yeah, like I said, I messed up a lot of things that had potential to be good things. You know, I could have probably had kids with some of these girls and married them, but I kind of was just in a spiritual bad place, and I was living in sin. In my 20s, I was doing drugs, partying. I thought I was a rock star when that was more 25 to about 28, 24 to 28. So I was living that rock star life, and when you live in a life of sin and you're selling weed and you're on drugs, and a lot of times I would be in a position to where, you know, all that was on my mind was sex. So there would be some girls that would give me their time and attention, and all I could think about was how I could have sex with this girl. Like, how do I have sex with her? Y'all ever seen Wolves of Wall Street where he's like, man, how do I bang this chick? That's real. For me, that was exactly like, all I could think about was, how can I bang her? And so a lot of times it would just be, you know, it just wasn't, I wasn't myself, and I was smoking weed, and I'm definitely not myself when I smoke weed. And it just didn't happen the way it should have or could have. I was just thinking about the wrong things at the wrong times, and I could never lead these women, show these women how I really wanted to interact with them. Sometimes, you know, and I'm talking about these girls I really wanted to be with. That's when this would happen, when these demons would attack me. You know what I'm saying, and have me feeling all types of ways. But you know, now I'm 31, and just, if I'm not supposed to be with a girl, it is what it is. I have no hard feelings. I'm not like in my feelings. It just is what it is. I'm too old to, you know, play games or try to hurt anyone else's feelings. I'm not into that. I don't intentionally hurt anyone, or you know, put somebody in a bad position. You know, I wouldn't do that because I wouldn't want anybody to do it to me. But I definitely, you know, in the Bible it talks about, 8 minutes. In the Bible it talks about being married, and I don't have to get the singleness, which means that I don't have the gift to just be single and not want to fornicate, right? And first I was like, you know what? I would rather get married so I don't have to fornicate. I could just have sex with my wife. But then I watched Alan Parr, and he said something so good. He said, are you praying for a wife just so you can not sin in fornication? Or are you praying for a wife for a woman that can help you better and spread the gospel of Jesus, and, you know, grow the kingdom of God? And so I was being selfish even in my prayer for a wife. I wanted a wife just so I could not have sex and sin, right? And I want to read 1 Corinthians 7:9, and it says, but if they cannot exercise self-control, they should marry, for it is better to marry than to burn with passion. And that's Paul talking, and Paul was talking about, you know, it's better to marry than to burn. So that goes to show how much God dislikes fornication and immoral sex and immoral sin, immorality, sexual immorality. You know, he'll rather you get married than to burn with passion or burn with sexual urges. You know, he'll rather you get married. But now, which I was just talking to Clay about this, and you know, he was talking about how, you know, people, because I was just telling him about a woman that, you know, was talking about how she was just, you know, all about her finances right now and not really a relationship. And that's how people are, period. They're all about finances, so they don't want to get married, they don't want to have kids because they're trying to live their best life. You know, so they don't care about having kids and multiplying. It's all about me. He was just saying, like he said, it's all about me, me, me. And that's how the world is. It's all about self. Do as thou wilt. You know, like Aleister Crowley said. And you don't want to be like that. Have kids and multiply. Well, all these women are trying to be independent, trying to be equal to a man. It's never going to happen. When they should be the nurturer. They should be, you know, taking care of their children. I'm not saying it's 100% wrong for a woman to work, but her role that God created her for is to nurture. She should be nurturing her children, right? Instead, she's trying to get a job and make $100K a year. You know what I'm saying? And show that she can do what a man can do. You know, I'm IND. They got the Bootsy anthem playing when they get in the car, right? Everybody wants to be independent. Everybody wants to wait till later in life because they think they want to live, they want to be successful and have all this money and go on trips, and they're not multiplying. You know, and the Bible says to multiply, have kids, get married. People don't want to get married. In the last days, it's going to be like that. Everybody's going to be for themselves, lovers of themselves, and that's why a lot of people aren't getting married. But me, as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. I'm gonna have me a nice wife, God willing, and she's gonna understand and be just a good woman. And so that's what I pray for. I pray for that God send me a wife, a beautiful wife, God-fearing, God-loving, or at least open to God wife.